Today we're going to be talking about how to get in touch with your spirit guides. If this interests you, stick around and let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Veronica and welcome to the Wholeness Shift. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so happy you found me. And if you're already part of the family and you're coming back, welcome back. I teach people about easy, practical spirituality and intentional living. I talk about all the things. We talk about spirit guides and dreams and pendulums and everything. So if this interests you, please hit the subscribe button below because I wouldn't want you to miss out on anything good. So Nancy asked, I have never had a guide tell me anything. I don't know if you hear them or what, but I would love to know how to talk to them. So I do have a pretty in-depth video. I have two of them that I will link to below. I made them a few years ago, and I know that they can tend to get buried in the timeline a little bit. So if you haven't come across those yet, I will link to them where I talk way more in depth about this. The answer is yes, your spirit guides talk to you, and yes, I can hear them. After doing the work to open my chakras and to develop my gifts and raise my vibes, I now can hear them. But before I couldn't, and I would just have to look for symbols, or I'd have to pay attention to my dreams and things like that. We all have guides that talk to us. They're always there, and they're always talking to you. They're always giving you advice. You may not think you can hear them, but I bet you can. I always say that paying attention to the voice in your head is key, because that's a lot of times how you're hearing them. If you guys can hear the baby crying in the background, I'm sorry. Little man is upset about something. But if you ever get a message in your head that you didn't think of yourself or you didn't try to bring to mind, that's probably your guide talking to you. Let me give you an example. I like to use cooking examples, like you're cooking dinner, you're just minding your business, you might be listening to a song or an audiobook, and all of a sudden a thought pops in your head that you forgot the garlic or you forgot the paprika, and you're like, oh, I forgot it. Okay, let me grab that. And you get it and you put it in. You weren't sitting there going, what did I forget? Let me recount this recipe. I had that and that and that. Oh, I forgot that. No, you were just going about your day and the thought floated in. You forgot the garlic. That was your guide talking to you. It often sounds like your voice in your mind, but it's a matter of how does the information arrive. Like if you can't remember someone's name, you're like, that guy from school, or that guy from work, that guy that, he used to wear the tie, the guy, you can't remember his name. And then you forget about it and you go about your business, and 3 hours later, you're just watching TV or something and you hear Dave. And you're like, ugh, that guy's name was Dave. Yes, it was Dave, right? You weren't trying to pull that information in. Once you got out of your way, your guides were able to float that information into you. Does that make sense? So pay attention to your dreams, because they're in charge of that. Pay attention to the songs that play in your head, because they're in charge of that. Sometimes you'll get a message with the song. Sometimes I like to use the example of, I was in a parking garage at work. I couldn't remember where I parked. I asked for help. I thought it was on this level, but I couldn't remember where, and I couldn't find my car. And so I asked for help, like, show me where I parked, please. And I heard Beyonce singing to the left, to the left. So I walked down to the left, and sure enough, there was my car. So pay attention to the songs that play in your head. Pay attention to the messages you get, just like I explained to you. You could just be walking out of work and walking to your car, and you might hear, don't forget to stop and buy milk. And you're like, oh, that's right, I need to stop and buy milk. Or you're driving down the road, and all of a sudden you get this urge, like, I should get off at this exit. And you're like, why would I get off at this exit? And then you ignore that and you keep going, and there's a traffic jam up there. You should have got off at that exit. So there's a lot of ways that they can talk to you. Sometimes they'll just put little angel numbers on the clock, like 1111, 222, 111, things like that. Those tend to just be little love messages, little encouragements from your guide. They like to show up a lot in symbology, like mine particularly like dragonflies. Some other people, like their guide might like butterflies or hummingbirds or different things like that. Mine like dragonflies. So to me, dragonflies equal spirit being presence and just kind of giving like some encouragement that they are close and, they're there with me type of thing, or to put a little bit of joy in my day. So there's all kinds of ways that your guides talk to you. If you haven't gotten to the point where your gifts or your clairaudience is developed enough that you hear them, pay attention to the things that I just talked about, and you might be getting clearer message. Oh, also, before I go, pay attention to the synchronicities. See, my guides just told me that. Thank you, Spomi. Pay attention to the synchronicities that come across. If all of a sudden you're like, where should, I need to move somewhere. I have 3 job offers. Which one would be better? One's in California, one's in Denver, one's in Florida. And then all of a sudden, you start seeing like a magazine cover has a picture of Denver on it. On a news story, you hear something about, today in Denver, this thing happened. If you start seeing synchronicities that all line up pointing in a certain direction, pay attention to that, because that's also how they talk to you. All right, you guys, I hope this helped. Let me know what questions you have, what comments you have. How does your guide show up to you? Leave it in the comments. Let's learn from each other. All right, I love you all. I'll talk to you soon.